Hello and welcome to the Home Care Millionaire Podcast, the show where compassion meets prosperity. I am Paul Tembandi alongside my wife Joan. She's not here right now. And we're honored to be your guest today. Together we built our home care agency from a little over $12,000 credit card loan, and some folks call it a gamble at that time. And we built it to an 8-figure business serving thousands of families over the years. Now we're here to share the lessons, strategies, and mindset shifts that helped us get there so that you, the audience, can benefit from this. We launched this podcast because the home care industry is often misunderstood. Too many people don't see the sacrifices that owners and their caregivers make every single day, and the powerful impact that home care agencies have on seniors and their communities. And we looked around and I looked around and realized that there wasn't a single podcast out there speaking to what we do, is shining a light on our industry. So John and I felt compelled to create one, and that's why we're here today. This podcast is designed for the purpose-driven provider. For those of you who feel called to care, but also want to build a thriving and sustainable business. Each week, we're going to share with you real-life stories, proven strategies, and powerful mindset shifts that will help you move from just surviving to truly thriving in this industry. Our tagline says it best: compassion is your calling, wealth is your reward. And here on the Home Care Millionaire Podcast, we're going to show you how you can embrace both, how you can really embrace both. So get ready for inspiration, practical insights, and the encouragement you need to build wealth, impact lives, and create legacy through your agency. I'd encourage you to hit subscribe and join us on this journey to transform your business, your mindset, and your future. Welcome to the Home Care Millionaire Podcast. Today, I'm honored, John and I really honored to welcome wonderful friends, Lee and Letty, who are fellow home care owners just like John and I, and who serve with humility, with compassion, with care, and with excellence. That's what Letty and Lee do. They've been doing it for many years. And John and I just admire them. I admire their heart, their willingness to teach others. We've learned from them. John and I have learned from them certainly over the years. And we're so happy to have them here today to share with us their story, their journey, and lessons learned, and how they see the impact that they've been able to contribute to this industry that we're all a part of. So without further ado, let me introduce Letty and Lee. Letty and Lee, welcome, and please share with us your journey, where you came from, and what it's been for you, and then I'll follow up with some other questions as we progress here. Over to you, Letty and Lee.
Sounds great. Well, first of all, Paul and Joan, of course, she's not here, but we really want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to participate on your podcast. Lee and I decided to start this about 5.5 years ago. We're both veterans, and I actually served in the Air Force for 37 years, and Lee served in the Air Force.
Service.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service. Yes.
Thank you. Lee actually did 38 years, and we always laugh because our experiences in the military are very different. He was an air traffic controller. I worked in the human resource environment, doing a lot of entitlements and benefits, which really helped me grow and develop this business. But emphasizing on our background and how many years we served in the military, that really set us up to be great business owners. And that's been our personal experience, not only from the administrative part, but also from the heart. We grew up in the military all of those years with 3 core values, and one of those is service before self. And so when you hear that for many, many years, all you want to do is serve and help others.
Yes.
And that's what drove us into the home care industry, because we wanted to continue servicing not only our elderly, but also our senior veterans. So we have great passion for helping others.
Wow. Wow. That is awesome. That is awesome. Wow. Wow. Coming from a service background, I mean, this must have felt natural for you folks, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I um I told Lee, I said, he actually opened it up in January of 2025 is when we actually 2020 when we opened up the
Okay.
business, and it was right at the beginning of COVID. And so that
I
first year
know.
was a struggle. But I was still actually working, and I told Lee, I said, if I would have known what it really was about, I would have retired earlier and would have joined you
Whoa.
much sooner, because
Sooner. Yeah.
been such a blessing helping others. It really, really has. I
Wow.
knew that we were going to get an opportunity to do that, but I just didn't comprehend the need of,
Hmm.
we have our
Hmm.
business model, and of course, providing all those type of services, but there's other services that on a volunteer basis that we have offered our clients. And all of those
Yes.
things are on a voluntary basis, such as, sometimes their homes are not real safe because they're older
Hmm.
and they don't have family
Yes.
around. And so we help
Yes.
them go in there and help make their home safe, which means sometimes it's getting
Wow.
your hands dirty and helping them clean their home, or
Yeah.
paying for a service to come and clean their home. And
Yes.
that's how we donate money, right? And give
Wow.
back to the community. Sometimes we'll pay for those services because we want to make
Yes.
it a safe environment for them, but we also want our caregivers to go into a safe
100%.
environment. So,
100%.
we've raised money to help fixed appliances, plumbing. We have worked with a whole bunch of nonprofit organizations to help the
Wow.
seniors in the community. So there is much more than just delivering services through our visiting angels model.
Hmm.
We're in it 24/7, 24
Wow.
7.
Way to go. Way to go. That's awesome. I just like the other stuff you do. I mean, because you look at the whole picture here, the full person, and you care. I mean, which I think is an important part of what we do. I mean, isn't caring as you can you walk us through? I know COVID was rough. I mean, it was. I got to tell you, Lee and Letty. I mean, COVID almost put us out of business. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, we're that close, okay? But by His grace, we're able to survive and thrive, really. So, COVID was a big part of it. Let me just ask you this: you guys started. I know you touched on it a little bit here. What were the early days? I mean, I can imagine starting COVID. That must have been a challenge, wasn't it? What were the early days like for you guys?
Yeah, so, again, I'll hand it over to Lee and he'll tell you a little bit about it. So he can explain the first year challenges.
Yeah.
I just observed it secondhand. It was painful because he was struggling, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
eventually we got, if you want to provide some comments.
Our daughter and I actually opened the business, and
Okay.
when COVID hit and people were being paid to not have to work, it
Yes.
became the norm. And so it was a struggle to try to find caregivers. And we had, as you know, clients were not going into assisted living because their families couldn't see them anymore. So they were pulling
Yes.
out of assisted living. So that kind of helped us. But then at the same time, when you can't provide caregivers,
Correct.
that part was a struggle as well. But we just worked hard and did the best we could. And like she said, our business model is such that we care for our caregivers and we take great care of them. We have caregivers that started with us at the very beginning and are still with us now.
Wow. Way to go. Way to go.
5.5 years.
So,
Wow.
I will share a couple of things of my observations when he was running the business during that first year of COVID that we were struggling with, which was, of course, the clients wanted the caregivers to be vaccinated. And that
Mhm.
was another challenge because a lot of the caregivers didn't want to get
That's
vaccinated
right.
because it was so new, right?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that was a challenge. And then, of course, wearing a mask,
I know.
consistently throughout the care, that was another challenge. I mean, it was difficult for them. And of course, then the client too. So safety and trying to keep up with, CDC, mandates, that
Hmm.
whole year was so challenging, but Lee got through it with our daughter, Audrey,
Wow.
and now we're thriving. We're thriving.
See? Awesome. Awesome. Lessons learned. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. 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 That was really, yeah. I hear we went through it too. So I mean, it wasn't a fun time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It was not fun at all. I mean, you had to deal with folks. I remember in that case, you had some folks that didn't want to take the shots because for religious reasons too. I mean, they were a
Right.
lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. Yes. And then clients would not want you to come in because you could bring it to them, right? I guess. Yeah. And then the staff didn't want to go out to work. It was just, but we're glad that that time is behind us now. Good deal. Good deal. Awesome. Awesome. What are some? I mean, I would just want to. What else? I know. Beyond providing great care, which I know you guys are famous for that. What do you believe is the single most important factor that's contributed to your growth and success as a company?
Well, I will tell you, when I actually joined Lee, I sat back and observed, right? One of the things that we weren't doing really well, because
Mhm.
again, we were just getting out of COVID, and we're trying to find our footing. But it was actually, I hate to use the marketing phase, right? Because it's so much
Yes.
more than marketing. It is actually embedding yourself into the community and
Mhm.
establishing relationships. I don't like using the word marketing because that's marketing to me is just going and doing a site visit in many instances, leaving brochures or putting a little YouTube or a Facebook.
Mhm.
That's sort of marketing. And I strongly believe in establishing relationships, getting to know people on a personal level. And that means you consistently need to go and to the agencies, the hospitals, to veterans organizations that participate in some type of elder care,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Or offer some type of services. And so that's what we started doing. We started going to nursing homes, assisted living,
Wow.
senior community centers, the hospitals. We started really learning about some of the VA programs, the long-term care programs, because we're in San Antonio, and in San Antonio, it's like military USA.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
VA offers some phenomenal long-term care
Wow.
options that
Wow.
so many of our military members do not know. If they are eligible and they're able to tap into, some of those benefits, our military veterans literally get our services for free. And so in that particular area where we're at, not everybody has a lot of money to throw around. Most of our seniors in our community are financially strapped and they're on a budget.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, they have to be very frugal, and sometimes they can't afford our services. They
Mhm.
need our services, but they can't afford it. So we need to figure out how to help them. And if
Mhm.
they're, we guide them through the entire process.
There you
We
go.
expose them. We sometimes will voluntarily drive them, to get registered or go talk to their social worker or their provider so that they can maximize their benefits and entitlements so that they're only paying out of pocket very little or
Mhm.
nothing
Mhm.
at all. And
Wow.
that's what I'm saying, it's getting out to the community and establishing those relationships. And what really has helped us grow is word of mouth.
Wow.
Our name is getting out there. We believe in providing exceptional service,
Mhm.
and quality versus quantity
Mhm.
is what's most important to us.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Because a good name, boy, I tell you, to build a good name, it takes a while, doesn't it? I mean, it takes a good while.
It
I mean,
really does.
but once you have that good name, it kind of sells itself. I mean, with the kind of service you guys do, I mean, it just sells itself. And being in a like I said, being in a military type environment too, really is just to
Yeah.
serve folks that have given, I mean, they've given up their lives really, to serve us, protect them, protect us. That's
Yeah.
gotta be it's gotta feel right, doesn't it, Lady? It's gotta feel right what you guys are doing.
And we're very engaged too. We're we believe that we're the face of the company. So
There you
we
go.
meet all of our clients, we meet all of our caregivers. We let our caregivers know that they're coming into a military culture, and we're going to hold them to a higher standard, higher
There
than
you
they've ever had to hold at another agency. So we encourage them to be on time, to dress appropriately, to be polite and to be caring and be
Yes.
engaging with the clients. They're not just going to sit in the client's house and sit on the couch and watch TV with them. They're going to be engaged.
That's good.
Yeah, I would like to add, when we do have caregivers coming in and interviewing, and we tell them, listen, you are joining military-like culture. That's what we have. They look at us, really odd, and they're like, oh no, what am I getting myself into?
That's right.
We
That's right.
explain to them, yes, it is having higher standards, but really a military-like culture is taking care of your own. And once you become part of our team, we're going to make sure that you succeed, right? We're going to give you the training, all of the tools. Not only that, if they get into a situation where they need help, they call us all the time. Like, I don't know how many times Lee has gone out personally to fix people's tires. And then I'm holding their kids while he's fixing a tire, So that's what a military type culture is. It's not about just, well, you need to make sure you're in uniform and you need to make sure, yes, that comes with it, higher standards, but it's nurturing and really caring about the caregivers so that when things are good, we're there. But when things are not all that great, we're also there. We want to make sure that as a team, we succeed. And that is what the military taught us. And that is what we've brought to the home care.
Wow. That's commendable, Letty and Lee. That is commendable. I mean, these are lessons learned. I mean, these are, talk about nuggets. That's one right there. I mean, those standards that you adhere to, and that you make sure your team has that. That's gotta, I'm sure the folks you serve, the seniors you serve, certainly appreciate it, don't they? I mean, they most appreciate that about you, about your company.
Yeah, I will tell you that we have a pretty good reputation. We always tell our clients we're not perfect. Situations will come about that are not great.
Sure.
But this is one of the reasons that Lee and I actually still to this day will personally go and do assessments and meet with our clients. Okay. And this is why I say this is not a 5 day a week. This is 24/7. So if anybody ever wants to get into this business, they have to know that that's what they're going to have to give is 24/7. Of course, we relax and have a good time, but we're always ready to be available to our caregivers and our clients. But when we go and do an assessment and we're meeting, our potential clients for the first time, we let them know we really, really care, which is one of the reasons that we're here to provide you and meet you face to face and firsthand, because we want them to know who's responsible for their care, so that if something is not going right, they absolutely feel comfortable picking up the phone and talking to us directly. We want to have that personal relationship with our clients. At some point, we might not be able to do it because as we're growing, it's not going to be feasible. But we want to make sure that our daughter and our operations manager will support us and do the exact same thing. We want them to meet the people that are responsible for their care. And that's when we tell them we're not perfect. But when you have concerns or want to give us feedback of any kind, we believe feedback is any type of feedback is great, even if it's things that they're going to point out they're not going good. Because if you tell us, we'll fix it.
Yes. Well, you can't fix something that you don't know about either. I mean, and we're not machines, so things are gonna go wrong from time to time. But the sooner if they let us know, it makes it easier for us to then correct it. Because you're so right. I think that communication is such an important part of all of this, isn't it?
Absolutely, it really is. And besides the communication, it's actually doing something about it, right? It's quick, rapid action is really what's going to delineate you from other people, other home care agencies.
Yes, it will. Let me just ask you this. Has your perspective on providing care to seniors evolved since you first started? And how has that influenced your business model, if you will?
For me, when I first started, I thought it was we are going to stick to the business model, meal preparation, incontinence care, companionship, but light housekeeping. But it is completely different than that because, for example, we'll go into a senior's home and they're like, my wheelchair broke.
Yes.
And so again, I was telling you, they're on a budget, or they have to go to a doctor and get a prescription if they're going to have somebody pay for it. And so that takes time, right?
Yes.
So this is why we establish great partnerships with community like Project Mend. They provide, equipment to a lot of the seniors in the community for like less than $25.
Wow.
And it's done within 48 hours.
Wow.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's gone beyond just the normal services. That is just one of the examples, right? Sometimes we'll go into clients' home and they don't have enough food. And so, they're not coming out and saying, I need this assistance, but you're talking to them and you realize they need assistance. So we'll go and talk to Meals on Wheels and get them signed up so that they can get regular meals. We'll volunteer and purchase some groceries to get them started. So it's one of those things where you absolutely have to care about people and be in it 100%, because the need to help our seniors in our community goes beyond what we actually just do as part of our service model.
Wow. That's awesome. The other thing also, Lee and Lady, that I found out over the years is that we tend to be, in some cases, the only connection, not blood relation or anything, the only ones that these folks have around. Have you guys noticed that? We're it for them. They have no family.
Absolutely. Yes. You want to provide some comments?
I recently did exactly what you're talking about. I recently did an assessment.
Okay.
And I went into this lady's house. She's 92 years old.
Okay.
And I sat there for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it's because she needed somebody to talk to. She didn't have anybody else to talk to. So, yeah, we do whatever we need to. And that happened more times than you can imagine.
Yeah.
Situations where we had COVID, or we had shortly after COVID started, there was a huge freeze here in Texas.
Okay.
Specifically, and we made sure we kept in touch with our clients and made sure that they were safe, and especially the ones that didn't have anybody. So, and kind of back to your other question, our compassion and passion for doing this has just increased over time. It's because we see the need.
Yes. You so true. I mean, ours is the same thing with Joan and I. When we started out, we didn't have that view. It was service for sure. I mean, but boy, it's evolved over the years. I mean, you see the need is different. You see that folks want to know that you care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you know. Do you care? And that's what we all bring, especially with your service background, that will bring to the table, which just makes a world of difference. And like you talk about, listen, like Lee, you talk about spending 3 hours. Some of these folks have no one to talk to, like you said. They want to be listened to. They want to be listened to, and they want someone who cares enough to give them time and space for them just express themselves. Yeah, and that's what we provide, and that's why, like I said, John and I started this podcast, because we felt like there wasn't enough being said about what we do. Right? I mean, we go through so much, not just with the clients. I mean, working with them and whatnot. Our caregivers. I mean, I think Lee talked about just finding them as a challenge most sometimes.
Yeah.
Our staff in the office, we have to go through to get qualified staff that care, right? Want to do the right thing. I mean, those are all challenges that folks out there don't know, and that we want to highlight. So thank you again for bringing that out. For someone just starting a home care agency, what is one piece of advice you would give them to help them avoid the common pitfalls that folks may avoid, other than if they don't get this advice? Because I know you've all been through. I know you shared some earlier, but what are some nuggets, if you will, that you say, hey guys, if you start, and this is some things that you might want to consider, because we went through this, and then we think you can learn from. What would you say?
Yeah. Well, I've actually have talked to a couple of people that really were considering home care, and this was an Air Force colleague, and he actually opened up a home care agency after, we had a discussion, but there's other people that have decided not to do it. And you have to be frank in the sense that when we say it's 24/7, it's 24/7. That doesn't mean that you're working 24/7. That means you have to be available 24/7. There's somebody on call all the time But if something goes awry and we're on vacation and they call us, we have to act,
That's
right?
right.
We still have to take a break, and we're almost like being in the home care an agency, right? A
Yes.
hospital never stops. You're always on. And so that's an expectation that, people considering getting into this kind of business need to know. If it's all about the money, this is not the place for you. I
100%.
mean, you can make a really good living. However,
Yes.
it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of
Yes.
nurturing your caregivers and your clients. So you have to be a people person.
Yep.
If you're not a people person, this is not the industry for you. You can't just have your staff run it for you. If you want your agency to thrive, you need to be present,
Yep.
and you need to be part of the company.
Yep.
That doesn't mean going into the office every single day. Lee and I, at some point, we're going to scale back a little bit and take
Right.
more vacations, but it means you still have to be part of the business to
Yes.
make sure that your standards are still, being implemented. And then you have to have a lot of quality checks. You can't just have one visit. You have to have predetermined quality checks. And then just know your craft. You've got to know your craft. All the rules, from the Health Human Services, just so to make sure that you're compliant. If you're servicing veterans, know all the programs that the VA is offering so that you can help your veterans offset the cost of home care. And
Right.
then, if you've got Medicare or Medicaid and you're in that and you're providing that type of service and you're getting payment, learn your craft, learn how that is done.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be hands-on, you have to be engaged, you have to be, people have to know that you care, and you have to get dirty. There's just no way around it. I've had one of the little stories that we laugh about sometimes when she was saying that I go out and change tires. We had a caregiver happened to be on call. And we
Okay.
had a caregiver that called and said, I'm going to be late to my shift because my battery's dead. I said, where are you? I'm on my way.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and then he ghosted us after that. But the client that we had still needed care. So I went down, and Valerie and I went to the client's house, and I helped change him and bathe him, give him a
Wow.
bed bath.
Wow.
And, you just have to be willing to do that. And,
Yeah.
and whenever we go to clean somebody's house, we don't do it as much anymore, but we're in there. And
Yes.
we're cleaning and hauling out trash and doing the whole yard. So,
Wow.
I mean, you have to be 100% involved. You can't just be a sideline
Sure.
armchair quarterback, so to speak.
So I will tell you, and this is huge kudos to Lee. One of the things that he did was, in the military, as leaders, as you grow in the military, they tell you, get your hands dirty, know your craft so that you know what
Yes.
your troops have to go through, right? So Lee actually went to school, CNA school, certified nursing.
Wow. Oh, wow. Way to go.
That he knew what they were learning. He knew what we needed to expect from them.
Wow.
And so, of course, the
Wow.
caregiver was like, you did what? Right? But he's like, you need to do cleaning.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking
Wow.
about. It's not just about
I mean,
being the owner.
Yes. Isn't that talking about servant leadership? Isn't that what it's all about, though? I mean, that's it right there, isn't it? I mean, you know your craft. You're a servant leader. I mean, that's just, and I was just going to add also that, Lee and Len, you're not going to do this forever, in the sense that the heavy lifting, as it were, you don't do it
Right.
forever. You, like you say, you do it for a period of time. You grow leaders underneath you, right? And then eventually you can kind of outsource that to or delegate, that is a better word, to some other leaders within the organization that can then be on call a lot more and all of that. I mean, it's a process. I mean, I imagine, isn't it? I mean, that's the game plan, isn't it, for you guys at some point?
Yes. And one thing that I have to say about Letty is, we're not bosses. She's an
Correct.
amazing leader, and she mentors everybody here in the office. So we don't have any single point of failure. I could leave tomorrow and things would still sail on. Anybody else in our office, they're all cross-trained into everything, scheduling, phones, assessments, the whole nine yards. So, but she's a tremendous mentor, and she believes in instant feedback, good or bad. So
go. There you
I,
go. There
I
you
don't,
go.
feedback is never bad. But yes, it is true. You have to provide continuous and timely feedback. Um, and it is very true. One of the things that you just mentioned a little while ago was about one of the challenges is the front office staff. That has been one of our challenges, right? Because we hire people to work in the office and they don't realize that how much it takes, right? Like we rotate being on call, right?
Correct.
But
Correct.
so we have somebody that's always answering the phones versus the machine, right? And then
Yes.
that person is
Yes.
responsible for, getting to us or doing rescheduling when a caregiver calls out. But, that is a burden, right? And so you have to compensate your staff well. You really have to compensate your caregivers well to make sure that, their sacrifices are rewarded and noticed, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a huge challenge getting good people that have your passion for what you're doing as part of your team. And that's what, the culture thing. It's actually growing your culture, embedding your culture so that when you do step back, things will continue to, work in the same manner that you want.
Awesome. That's amazing. You're so right. You're so right. It's about the culture, the values, if you will, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we have a thing in the office. We do every Monday morning. We do this. We sit down. We kind of recite. We read our values and our mission. And being from the military, I'm sure you certainly appreciate that. Because when we hire folks, tell them, listen, guys, we have a mission. This is what we stand for. This is what this is what we're about. Because one of them want to sign up, they got to know what we're about. This is what we're about, guys. We want to make a difference in every family member that comes to us for services. That's what we're about. If you don't want to sign up for this, this not for you. Want to make a difference. This is how we're about excellence. This is because we all have to. Hey, we got to sign up for that. If we're not, you're either on our team or you're not part of the team, right? So that's a big part of it. So thank you for sharing that. Looking back on your journey, what is the most rewarding part of being a home care agency owner? I don't know if I've asked that question, but look at what do you take out of this? What makes it rewarding for you thus far? I said thus far because it's only been 5 years, right? So
Right.
I think it's just the feedback that we get from our clients. And just by providing them normal service, they're very, very grateful. But when we do a little extra, the above and beyond, just to see the gratitude, and we don't want that. It fulfills us to
yes,
give to them,
yes,
and Lee and I get so emotional
yeah.
because so many of our clients are just so grateful, and we're like, you're not part of our family and we're going to take care of you. And that doesn't mean just to prepare a meal. If you need something more, we're here for you.
Wow.
And so many of our clients take us literally, and
Yes,
it just keeps us on our toes, right? So
yes,
more service to some, but I think that has been the most fulfilling, is just to see that we've made a difference in people's lives. And that's why we love it so much.
yeah. Wow. Thank you. Any thank you. That's it for us too. That is it for us too. John and I just, especially when you go into, let's say, funerals and all of that, and these folks
Yeah.
come and just appreciate you, love on you for what you did. I mean, it's because we strike a chord. I mean, with the way we show up with these people, in their lives, and we show up the way I look at it. I'll tell the team that all the time, that we show up in the most vulnerable moments, really, if you think about it.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, and we're there to kind of see them through that finish line, as it were. And if we do a good job, it's not the money, really. It's our reward from the Almighty. So thank you all for that. Wow. Any last nuggets you want to share with the audience here, Letty, Lee? I'll let you do that before I close out the show today.
Just kind of tagging on to what you said a minute ago, and we actually went to a funeral service last week, and to be mentioned in the obituary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That gets to your heart.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. So true. Because you've become part of the family, haven't you? In a certain way. in a certain way.
But
Yeah.
I would like to add too that all of the whole journey for the last 5.5 years with providing home care to our community, it actually has improved our relationship,
Wow.
home relationship,
Wow.
you know, because we're so grateful for what we have.
Yep.
Because you see the need out there.
Mhm.
Like Lee's mom lives with us, and my mom lived with me. She's been living with us for 6 years.
Yeah.
And
Really
so
good.
we know what families are going through,
Yep.
when they have their parents living with them or they're taking care of them. So we're living it firsthand. But we're
Yes.
just so grateful
Yes.
every day to see some of the challenges that families have. And, it just makes you appreciate life.
It does. It does. Wow. Wow. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Letty. Thank you, Lee, for sharing with us, opening your heart really to the audience. We really really appreciate it. I know you guys are so busy to take this time out of your very busy business and successful business at that is a blessing for Joan and I. And
It's our honor.
yes, thank you. And I know that our audience is really gonna, lean into this and really learn from it, because that's what it's all about sharing our experiences so that we can empower other folks who are doing what we do, and they can draw strength from it. So thank you again so much for your time.
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining us today, audience, on this Home Care Millionaire podcast. We hope you found inspiration, encouragement, and practical tools that you can apply right away in your own journey. Our mission is simple: to shine a light on the incredible impact that home care owners and caregivers like Letty and Lee here in their organization, what they're doing for seniors every single day. We want to be able to give this audience the mindset, strategies, and faith-filled wisdom to build both purpose and prosperity. Because here's what we believe: compassion is your calling, wealth is your reward. Folks, if you found if this episode spoke to you and you found some value in it, would encourage you to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you like more resources and you want to have any questions for John or myself, just reach out to us at www.askjohnandpaul.com. We'll be honored to connect with you there. Until next time, remember, you have what it takes to build wealth, create freedom, and leave a legacy through your agency. We're here cheering you on every step of the way. Bye for now.